So while we have a moment here, I'm going to get a cup of coffee. I think we're just started broadcasting across the interweb. But if you guys don't know this video, I'll share it here and hopefully you can hear it. Sounds eerily like a pyramid scheme. Yeah, you are missing something. Idiot. It's a pyramid scheme. You feel me? I wish I would have taken my own advice back 2011 instead of shorting the shit out of everything, getting crushed for 3 years. All right. What's up, y'all? Lots of going on. We got a lot of explaining to do. Some new players in the room, a little bit uh, unfamiliar with our ways. But one of our ways is to appreciate the fact that the market never goes down anymore, ever again. It may never go down ever again. And each time we do actually have a sell off that lasts more than 7 minutes, those become what we call generational lows. And each time we rally off those lows, we go further and further away from those generational lows, which then create new generational lows, otherwise known as an uptrend. And until some of those generational lows are broken, I, as the only bear left on the earth, apparently, I will not stray from the path that we're never going down. So the recent lows were the Friday sell-off on the fake tariff news. We tried to break, but we don't. And now those are new generational lows. So then we rally off them. And now we're back to all-time highs yesterday. So now we're consolidating inside that all-time high candle. If we break down under yesterday's lows, we'll probably stay inside this big candle for a little while. Inevitably, we'll come out and rally another 100%. And I really do mean that. I think the market's going to double from here within a very short period of time. But none of that matters, so I'll stop talking about it. We have a trade that works every single time that shows up. Every single time. Okay? And it's not about whether the market's going up or down. One trade works better when we're in a very strong bull market, but one trade works when we're in a weak market. So they transcend all market environments. You might have heard me mention it's a faux show bro VWAP break on an earnings report. The opposite side is the finger of God. It's basically a faux show bro in reverse. So each morning we have a list of stocks that are in the news and or have reported earnings, which is in the news. Stocks that are just in the news, like this Nerve, we could trade them. G-SIT, which was in the news yesterday. You know, my tendency is to have a lot of plans around earnings reports, but then a stock like G-SIT shows up and that's all I'm trading because it's cooperating. It has a lot of volume. It's shortable. It's long. You could trade it long. You could trade it short. It's very fluid. Found this one yesterday off the trash heap coming out of nowhere. And again, if you hear about a place that had this trade before we did, they're lying. Because again, when these stocks come out of nowhere like yesterday, and I'll show you how we played it yesterday. You see how the stock was doing nothing, and then it had some news. Okay? You'll hear that other oh, we alerted our members, blah, blah, blah. Sure you did, right. Nobody knew the news. Nobody even heard of the stock. But as soon as it started to trend and held VWAP, that's when we got interested. And that little blip right there to the downside, we just bought the high break. So after it tested VWAP and then broke, we started buying it at 575. And because the stock had never been this high in a very long time, I think this one was actually ever. I'm not sure because we trade so many stocks. Sometimes I forget. But let's go 5 years. Yeah, this was the one that was a blue sky breakout, right? So there was the all-time high. But it actually had a monstrous trade. Let me show it to you. This is the weekly. So there's the lifetime of the chart of the stock, right? Let me just even scrunch it up more for you. I don't know why I'm having this conversation, but I guess I'll show you some other trades in a second. I just want to show you what we're doing here every day. So this one piqued our interest. Blue sky breakout, they call it. All-time high break. So in this market, the market that we're in, the 2025 bull market, the demented, psychopathic, absolutely 100% bubblicious bull market, no doubt. You're buying stocks because the name of the company makes you laugh. That's officially the number one reason, number one way to tell if you're in a bubble. Are you buying stocks because of the name of the company? Yeah. Well, then you're in a bubble. Don't know when it's going to burst, but let's not pretend we're not in a bubble. We're legitimately buying stocks because they're worthless. Because they're worthless. That's a bubble. You're buying stocks because one reason: they're breaking out and they're being short squeezed. And these companies are virtually worthless. 9 out of 10 of these companies might not even exist. I'm talking about the rare earths and the nuclear stocks, the quantum. Half these companies will not exist a couple of years from now. Most of them don't do anything at all. But that doesn't matter when you're in a bull market where everybody's chasing the next fad. And I'm good at that because I've been a victim to getting in the way of these monster squeezes. Hold that thought. All right. So what I'm really good at, right, is finding these trashy stocks. And again, I've been doing this my whole life. And I'm pretty familiar with a lot of these names. That's why I was hip to the quantum names when they were still $1, $2 stocks. Hang on. Yeah. Well, that wakes everybody up, didn't it? Hey, you guys see me, hear me? This conversation is worth seeing my dumb face for. Hello. Hi, I'm on the internet. If anybody wants to watch the YouTube show, you could see the screen in my face if you want. You guys hear me? Okay. So we had a great start to the day. And if you guys were in the room this morning, you know it's kind of a joke. We had a little confrontation today for the new member, kind of confused about what was going on. And it got a little testy there. Again, I have a very thick skin and I like to, you know, joke around. But it's okay. It's all right. We got past it, right? And it's a great time to have this conversation because this isn't Glick's Picks. Glick's Picks is coming. Glick's Picks is going to be something very specific. It's going to be a video pick service that's going to highlight two trades that I'm interested in doing. And I'm going to give you the inner workings of my mind, which is a scary place, but I'm going to elaborate on a video. Well, I have a thick skin, and for reasonable criticism, misguided and not understanding. I don't have a tolerance. My tolerance is zero. You're right. Oh yeah, you want to make fun of me? I could take it. You want to ridicule me for getting out of my G-sit short? I could take it. But you know, misguided criticism, that I have zero tolerance. But that's cool because we got to the point where we talked it out. See, like adults, right? We had some fun, and next thing we moved on. So anyway, Glick's Picks, right? So Glick's Picks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight a video. I'm going to make a video. So for instance, what was the one for this morning? I mean, pick any one. They all were pretty interesting trades. So let's just say it was GSIT, right? So what I'm going to do each morning is I'm going to send you a video with my chart, and hopefully you have my charts to follow along. And I'll explain how, okay, we had our fun with this stock on the long side yesterday. You got a little pump. In the video, you'll see the blue line and the orange line. And I will carefully explain what we're trying to do. Now, again, what can get you in trouble is your timing. So if you were trading pre-market, the trade already happened. Blue line break, smash it down to the orange line. The reason I'm trying to stay away from making this a pick service is that this pick, right? If you got short here, you got blown out for a loss. But that trade worked, past tense. What I try to do is elaborate to the point where you know what you're doing. So, okay, you would say, all right, I missed this trade. But then when you see what we call the inverse or the reverse faux show bro, when you're a long trader, right? And well, when you're taking long trades, you're looking for the stock to break a new low, come back. That little comeback is usually enough. Here, like PM right now is the long trade that we have on, right? So why do we have it on? There has been, okay, so here's the perfect example. Let's walk through this. Everybody following along? And what I'm going to do here is what I'm going to do a couple of weeks from now on a Saturday, and I hope everybody shows up, because this moment we had with a new member this morning, it was a confrontational moment, but that's what I want. I want people to know what we're doing here. Ask the hard questions. I'm always there. So our default trade is to short stocks that are gapped up
that break VWAP and prior day VWAP. The trade has now provided a winning trade 100% of the time for 4 years. But unless you were awake, ready to trade this at 7:45 this morning, you missed the perfect entry. If you were around at 8:22, you still had a pretty decent entry. And it worked. 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. Now, when I see the trade has already worked and it's not even 9:30, I think, all right, maybe this has a counter trend move. So I wait to buy. I need to see it get over the blue line and over the orange line, and then I'd buy it. This stock gave us no reason to buy it at all. Right? Nobody wanted this. Trending down, trending down, trending down. Then it went just back to price. What do I mean by price? Stocks that break 150 tend to go to 147.50. If 147.50 doesn't hold, then you go to 145. And then the guy says, oh, I'm just making this up. This is conversations I have with myself. I have many voices in my head. Kenny, I thought we were buying the stock today. I know. Wait for it. If it breaks 145, it can go to 142.50. Okay, I'll wait. Thank you. Kenny, it's at 142.50. What do we do? I don't know, but I'm thinking about buying it now. But I'm going to wait. I want to see it fake them out and shake them out. I'll get rid of these red lines because that's where I did some of my trades. So I'm waiting, and I'm waiting some more. And then it got to 142.50. And it broke 142.50, and then it came right back. Oh, maybe I'm onto something. Start buying it. Kenny, I didn't get done at 142.50. Neither did I, because I was late. But I bought it when it came back above this range at 143.25. A little bit late, but all right. And there's our entry. So where's our exit? Our exit is the faux and the show. So if you believe, is what we did, we believe that the faux and the show is in place. We're buying the breakout part, and we're using the faux and the show as our outs if we're wrong. Because if you tried the faux show, if you thought this was the faux show, inevitably you had to get out. Same thing here, right? So the faux and the show happens. Next thing you know, we're starting to bro. And then we had this crazy print, which actually happened. So we went 142.50 back to 145. Aha. So you're a seller. 145. And then look where it went back to. Look at that price. That's 143.59. You know what our stop is? 143.50. And then when it went back to 145, if you hadn't sold any yet, sell. And now we're just waiting for the VWAP retrace. And now we raise our stop to the midpoint, which is basically the 144 now. And you don't let the stock break 144 without selling the rest. And the next thing you know is we had a trade that I was waiting all morning for, finally showed up. Do it. And this is just one of the trades. So a couple of trades. Thank you for mentioning Galaxy, GLXY. And I will say that, whoa, we were short this stock twice today. Not short anymore. Now, let me walk you through the orange lines and the red lines of where I did some of my trades. It's irrelevant. Let's talk about what we did. Stock was gapped up. I like shorting stocks that are gapped up. Didn't short the open. Missed it. Next thing you know, ripping. Good thing you're not short, because what is that? That's a faux show, bro. If anything, that was a long trade. But Kenny, I thought you don't take long trades on stocks that are gapped up. I don't. You could, because if there's a faux show and a VWAP break, do it. But then 7 or 8 minutes later, the trade that I was thinking about taking shows up. And for me, as I say, VWAP has saved my life. That is not an exaggeration. It saved my trading. All I trade is VWAP now. It knows more than me. The market, Jesse Livermore All the quotes from Jesse Livermore are validated by trading VWAP. The market knows more than you. Your first all that stuff. But this validates everything by price action, because VWAP is the algorithmic language of the market, right? So if I was paying attention, this conversation we had with one of our new members, I thought I was going to be told exactly what to buy and when to buy it. I could only tell you what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and then set you up. So here's one of those situations where I said, hey, if this thing breaks VWAP, you want to short it back to the orange line. I wasn't even in the trade because I was trading USAR, which was fan-freaking-tastic, and UUU, which was fan-freaking-tastic, and I missed the Galaxy, right? So the perfect trade would have been blue line, orange line. You're a shorter at the blue line, 44.25. Stock went to 42, right? But because it was breaking the lows of the day and prior day VWAP, I finally shorted it on that rollover. Knowing I was late to the party, I took the quick profit, used the orange line as my out, and I'm done. And then it rallied. And then it rolled. And I did it again. Once again, knowing I was late, tight stops, using orange line as my out. And this is what's so special about this trade setup. You could be short. Sorry, this one was long, then a short, then you're obviously witnessing it, a wonderful faux show bro. And that is why, right? That is why I'm trying to teach you this trade, because even by the time I'm done saying I like something, I'm on the other side of the trade. Hey, man, I heard you were liking this USAR. Why are you talking about being short? Because the stock's telling me it wants to go lower. I read some good news about us doing a deal with Australia. So did I. Stock's telling us nobody cares. Short it. All I am is a slave to the VWAP, and I don't mind. I'm that little creature on the back of Jabba the Hutt in this. Well, I guess Leia would have been the slave in that situation. But you know what I'm saying. I just do what the market tells me to do. It's wonderful and fantastic when it gets one of your ideas gets validated by the VWAP. That's what makes it feel good. Literally, it feels good. Oh, look at me knowing something. And then you realize, oh, wait, don't get too excited. You don't know anything. But that's how VWAP and that's how I trade. So I came in looking to short GSIT because it's a pump and dump. You know it's a pump and dump. Everybody knows it's a pump and dump. The stock went from 50 cents to 20 bucks. Real stocks don't go from 50 cents to 20 bucks without dumping. I mean, real stocks don't go from 50 cents to 20 bucks unless they have a takeover or a cancer breakthrough. So I came in today looking to short this stock. Immediately got paid once, right? Sorry. Immediately got paid. And blue line to orange line, I'm pretty damn excited about taking my profit there. And the joke was I covered, and that's when it really started to go down some more. And again, whatever. It's not about me. I was short up here on the rollover, covering here and here. And then I just decided, okay, that's good for me. I'm going to get out. And then it rolled over. The trader that was a little bit more disciplined, and again, I have other trades that were going on at the time. It's kind of why I lightened up, and then I decided to get out. You know, I put a tight stop, got under 14. I put the stop at 14.12. It got me. That's it. End of the story, right? I could have got short again. But while this is happening, right? While this is happening, there's so many other things going on. And that's why not only do I want you to understand that's what we're trying to do here, is I'm hiring. I'm hiring because while I'm sitting here shorting USAR and UUU and PM and GSIT and Galaxy, I want you to be buying this PM. I want you to be loaded up in my account with 2,000 shares of this thing. After I set you up and I say, hey, new guy, if you see PM above 143, I want in 1,000 shares minimum. And then you're in. And now it's a 3-point trade, just reversion to the VWAP. Reversion to the VWAP, and now you sell. So now that you got back to the blue line, you're expecting more. But remember, when a stock is in a downtrend and you finally get reversion, that's where you'll find some sellers. So we're in from 143. We've sold 145, and now you're a seller here. And don't sell it all at one price, because you have to think that this thing's got some more room to go, right? Because it broke down from the 147, right? Bottom of the car. What did I just say? Bottom of the candle meets the top of the candle. That's your expectation. Where things happened once before, or where stocks like to go to. So we're in the driver's seat. We're in from 143 and a quarter, 143 and a half, sold some 145, just sold some more. So now stretch the chart out. And this is where you personally have to do your own trade, depending on your risk tolerance. Low risk tolerance, you're going top of the range as your stop. A little bit more risk tolerant, you're going bottom of the range, where the top of the bottom, that's where I'm at. I'm letting it breathe, because that's, to me, is a little bit more significant. Where you've pivoted was where you broke. That's my stop. So right now I'm thinking, please, God, break the VWAP. Ah! And then I realize, if it doesn't happen, I'm going to sell it. And that's trading. And now you wait. And you wait to see what happens next, because I wish I could tell you what was going to happen next. But I'm the first one to tell you I know nothing. I just trade what I see around the ranges and the chart patterns that I have recognized. You like that? I gotta bring it home, because I am the universe's #1 chart pattern recognition trader. And I've taken that and I've bestowed my chart pattern recognition, and I have overlaid it with VWAP. And that makes us the best traders on earth. Not just me, all of you. And if you learn from what I'm bringing you, you will be your own Glick's picks. You'll be telling me what to do, just like the guy that told me, hey, let's short some RTX. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wasn't even paying attention. He said, hey, you're doing the thing that you want to see. And I said, yes, it is. Let's get short. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right? And this, it might not look like a lot, but with 300 shares, you got yourself $500 right there. Yes, sir. Right? The guy that said, hey, what about that G-sit rolling over? What do you think? I said, oh, well, I just covered it. I don't really blah, blah, and I missed it. It's not about me, my friends. As much as it sounds like I'm making everything about me, it's not about me, right? I don't make the Jets suck the way they do. I just tell you, bet against the Jets every damn week, and you'll never be disappointed. And you'll tell all your friends you're a professional sports gambler, huh? Am I right or am I wrong? How about these Jets, huh? What a team. They should just go away. Anyway, sorry to distract you from the point. But the point here, right, as we had our new member who didn't really understand what was going on, and that's why just give me a minute. Give me 2 minutes. Give me a week. Give me 2 weeks. That's why we do it for 2 weeks. 2 weeks! We're just going to temporarily close the beaches. 2 weeks! Jaws line? Sorry, I have movie Tourette's, if you don't know that about me. So today, no joke, there was at least 30 trades that went by. And I would say roughly 28 of them worked. How many was I in? 4. G-sit short, Galaxy short, UUU short. And I don't want to mention the Q short. But I want you to understand that I'm trying to bring this trade to you, right? So then you can choose what you feel most comfortable doing. But before we go any further, can I get an amen from the guy in the back who's in the clove with their life savings at 250? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to, and by the way, if you just met me a couple of days ago, is anybody in VICR? Yeah, that's right. That's right, friends. See, when people ask me, so what do I get for being in this service? I was like, you get a trade that works every time. You get me. The trade that works every time it's a bonus. What you're really paying for is this. Drink it in. Drink it in, baby. This is what you get. So whatever you paid, 500 for the month, or maybe you paid 5,000 for the year. Do you think for a second, right? Imagine all the money you've spent on stuff in your life, in any capacity or in this industry, financial advisor. Maybe you were in a hedge fund doing 2 and 20. Maybe you were in some other service or whatever. 2 weeks, right? That's Total Recall. But there's another one that's in Shaw's where they're going to close the beaches. 2 weeks is like 2 months. Maybe it wasn't 2 weeks. I think it is. But yeah, 2 weeks is from Total Recall as well. Good call. 2 weeks. All right, now you lost my train of thought. What was I just saying? Oh, right. So imagine paying $5,000. You're like, all right, what do I get? You get me. And for a second, do you think a guy that's been doing this for 30 years, who've had some of the most horrifying lows and glorifying highs and managed to survive for 30 years, you don't think you're getting $5,000 worth of good info from this guy over a year's period of time? This trade that works every time is just part of it. And it's a great part because we got a trade that works every day. It's visceral. It's in your face. But understanding market mechanics and knowing a little bit, and if you would have met me last week, guess what? You'd be long this VICR because I got a friend who's an analyst, and I don't like analysts, but this guy over the last X amount of years has been pretty damn good, especially with the sector that he focuses on, semiconductors and tech. And he's like, hey, you know about this stock? I'm like, no. He's like, buy it. I'm like, why? He said, they're going to have good news. I'm like, I don't like buying stocks that have news. He's like, the news is not out yet. I'm like, okay, well, let's buy it then. And now the news is out. And supposedly, VICR, by the way, right? Supposedly, what I'm hearing, again, is that VICR is so proud about what they're about to unleash tonight on their earnings report, is they kind of gave you a taste. That's how excited they are. Now, I'm out, full disclosure, but I'm probably going to buy a couple of contracts with the money that we made off the stock. Now, why am I doing that? Let's go back to the premise that I don't know shit. Nobody does. It's nice that this guy's call worked out so well. 3 days later, we're getting paid, cashing out. But I'm being told to hold this bad boy into the report. Into the report? That's madness. But I got to take a shot because the guy's been right already. So what are we doing? We're buying the $70 calls for $4. And there they are. Now, you're only going to do this as if you met me a couple of days ago when you're already up money on the trade. Because now you could take some of the money you made on the stock and now gamble on the follow-through move. But then we got the clove, right? And I told you, over the last 2 years, every time this stock has gone to 250, I bought it, and every time I've made money. Sure, I've wasted a large amount of time. I should have sold some up here, then bought it back. I've been buying, and a little bit I've sold. Today, I'm a seller, finally, right? But I think this stock is getting taken over. But more importantly, every time it's hit 250 in the last 2 years, we've been paid. And if you didn't know that, Now you do. Welcome to the Investor Center, Aerotine Industries. So our go-to trade works awesome. I know how to do pretty much everything. Nobody really knows more about trading than I do, except my algorithmic wonder man. His name is Soligello, and he lives in our chat room. I've taken what I know about the market, and he's somehow taken an electrode and shoved it up my down. He hooked it up to me and has now morphed what I know in my brain algorithmically, and he shows it on these charts. It's fantastic. So we're doing a world of things each day. Try to stay focused on the main trade, the one that works all the time. And then we take some of the profits from these wonderful trades that work all the time, and then we spread out. When the environment is conducive for swing trading, which basically every market right all the time, because the market doesn't really go down too much anymore. So right now it's kind of hard not to be, it's hard to be long and wrong. All right, enough of that conversation. Let's go back to what we did today some more, right? So I came in with a whole list of stocks that I was ready to trade. But then I see my boy GSIT doing its thing. So that's what I'm doing. That doesn't mean you don't focus on the RTXs and the whole list. And I'll give you the list in a second. We'll go through it. Let me make sure I have it up here. And we'll talk about the Coke and the GM. They did work, but they were temporary. So Coke, GE, LMT, RTX, Triple M, GM, PM, NOC, Halliburton, DGX, PHM, and Galaxy. Those were our go-to symbols. But Kenny, how come you were trading GSIT? Because I came in looking to short the stock. It validated my idea. I had to focus on it. And that was what I did. I came in looking to short USAR because I've been getting paid on the short almost every day. That's what I did. USAR works. I go short UUU because basically they're the same stock. That's what I did. What you need to be doing is someone who is looking for the trade. I just want the trades that work every time. So let's talk about the ones that didn't work. GM. Now, you say it didn't work. I say it did work. Now, why? Okay. I was short. As soon as the market opened up, it broke VWAP. We gave it a shot at $63.61. And then the stock went down to 63. We covered some for a winning trade. Then it broke 62. It broke the low of the day. And then it went to 62.50, where I covered some more. The trade did work. Then we said, uh-oh, it's breaking back over the VWAP. Cover the rest. And the trade was over. So that was a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute trade. And not only did it work, but then because you know how important the faux show bro is, some of the traders, not me, some of the traders said, hey, so shouldn't we cover and go long? And I said, well, I'm not going to because I'm focusing on some other shorts right now. My bad. My bad. Right? Because if you haven't noticed, the faux show bro VWAP break on earnings reports works every time. And I'm not even on it. And there it is. So the reason this trade works so well is specifically because people that don't use VWAP, my former self, I'd still be short, but I shorted the open because I'm playing the fade. The fade happens, gapped up stocks that break VWAP. I short VWAP, and then it went down. Knowing that shorting is short-lived and I'm going to die, I take the profit. And then I also know where the death zone is for the shorter. That is the VWAP. I say, oh, well, that was a fun 3 minutes, like my sex life. I'm out. My mistake was not taking the other side of the faux show bro. I was just happy that the trade worked. Now let's talk about Coke. What does that look like? Looks like the same exact chart as GM. Now, if you were looking to short it, right, there's the short. $70.69. It went down a whopping 20 cents, went right back. Fake out, shake out. Next thing you know, you're covering flat. Moving on. That's it. That was the whole trade. Well, that ain't working. You're out. It worked. But, I wasn't trying to make 20 cents on a $70 stock. I'm looking for it to go back to the 70.21 at least. But then it rolled and it reversed. You don't stay shorts that are breaking VWAP. It's just like the Qs, right? You don't stay short the Qs. You all know the Qs are never going down ever again in our lifetime, right? So that's why I played the buy the dip video. I'm not here to debate with you. Does anybody notice the market doesn't go down anymore? You do notice that, right? I'm not saying these things like I'm some crazy, oh, Kenny, the market does go down. Yeah, I get it. But have you watched this market lately? It doesn't go down. And when it does go down, it doesn't go down. Every down move is a temporary move. So the joke is, did it even go down? Yeah, I guess it did. But at the end of the day, when you see the closing price in the paper, the market was up. It really doesn't go down anymore. Stocks go down. But if you trade with the attitude that, and again, my attitude every morning is I have to remind myself that whatever you see today, it's the market's never going down ever again. And I mean it. And that's why the faux show bro is so powerful, right? Because the faux show bro traps the shorter, and the long trader who got out because it broke down is feeling left out and then gets the FOMO. So you got the short covering and the FOMO long trader getting back in, boo. And that's why the trade works so well, especially on the Qs, which never go down. And we have new generational lows being put in almost every day. And I mean it. Right now, generational lows are 585 on the Qs. If by some chance, and I hope we do, I hope we get one more nasty sell-off before the year is over. It would be awesome. And I'm hoping, and every morning I say, please crash today. I hope the market crashes every day. I'm a true bear. And if you think we're not in a bubble, I don't know what you're looking at. We're legitimately buying stocks because of names of companies. That's a bubble. But more importantly, you're long prime minister right now, right? What's prime minister? PM, right? Why? Well, why are you still long PM? Because it's just chopping around, right? Hasn't really broken down. The places where, again, depending on where your price is, there's a double bottom right there. But now, if you are still long this trade, you could adjust those levels from earlier, still holding in there. Yeah, you know what? Just leave that one there. Now, hopefully you get the next move up, which would be to retrace to where it broke down from. Anyway, before we go any further, right? The Qs, shorting is short-lived and you're going to die. PM, shorting is short-lived and you're going to die. Open, shorting is short-lived and you're going to die. Galaxy, shorting is short-lived and you're going to die. All of these trades I was short at one point today. You just can't stay short. It's impossible. But you take that, right? You take that notion and you say, all right, cool. Shorting is short-lived and they're going to die. All right, so anytime your stock is going down and trending down, you have to assume at some point there's going to be some buying, at least for some short covering. And then quite often the short covering becomes a new rally, like the GM, like the Galaxy, and of course the Qs, which never go down. Like they never go down now. Ever. Right? So if you get a fart in the wind $2 pullback, you got to think, all right, I guess that's 2 points more than we're going to go up. because every time we pull back, it's met with an equal and greater move to the upside. Every time. This is the QQQ chart since the Trump tariff and the May 12th power gap. And every time we've pulled back, those become new generational lows, which are now right there. The Friday candle low, but there's a low print underneath there from the aftermarket, which are now new generational lows. And the only time you should really take the QQQ as a short is if we're breaking under generational lows, because then there'll be more to fall. But chances are we're never going down. And that's why every stock is a buy. I know it sounds ridiculous, but and let's go back to this Clove trade. If anybody's in it, take some money. We finally got back to the yearly VWAP. But I wouldn't sell all of it. I do think it's getting taken over at $12.53. But that goes back to the whole, what are we doing here? What do I get for my money? You get me. You get Solid. You get our crew. You get an understanding of the market that's beyond anybody's comprehension, because we know how the market works and we know how important VWAP is, and we swear by price action, and that's it. So good question. I guess you just cut those trades quick when they go back above VWAP and hope you don't sit there trying to trade it. Yeah, when you start to chop around, you don't. That's why you never get out of the entire position at one price. So if you start chopping, we call it the jiggle or the shuffle. Stock's making a new decision, right? You have to wait for it to decide. VWAP's the decider, right? The QQQ, the decision's been made. You lose as a shorter. The decision has been made. Faux show, bro, VWAP break, holds the VWAP from on top, you're a loser. Right? And it's one of my favorite trades because once again, it's my only loss for today because I'm if I lose more, I cannot tell you. I'm trying to put a number on it now, how much money I've lost short in the Qs. I gotta be at around 30 million. That's a real number, because just the idea of shorting the Qs takes my brain power away from the trades that are doing things that I should be doing. And once again, I was short the Qs, right? And here I'm thinking, oh, maybe I will get paid. And nope, getting out for a loss, as always. It's the dumbest trade, but I keep taking it because one day, we're actually going to roll over and break lows and actually go down for more than a minute or two. And I got to be there for that one moment. But again, here you go. Another $396.46 out the window. Thank you very much, shorting the Qs. It's a terrible, terrible trade. And I'll try it again later. If it breaks back under that blue line, I'll give it another shot. But seriously, every day I take these wonderful trades, my G-Sits, my Galaxies, Prime Minister, RTX, and I'll throw a nice chunk of change out the window shorting the Qs almost every day. I have an addiction problem. So back to the guy that wants to trade with me, what if your only trade was to short the Qs today and you wound up losing money while the other 78 other trades worked? Right? That's why I want you to be your own person. And try not shorting the Qs. It doesn't work. I'm living proof. Stupid. I mean, it's just dumb. I try every day because one day we are going to sell off and I'm going to be there for it. I'll probably cover too early as I normally do, but I'll be there. I mean, the last time we had made some serious money shorting the Qs was in July. That Wednesday when I was in the hotel where we had a little earnings reversal and the Qs went negative for about an hour and a half. That was a pretty good day because I had some size. Yeah, and it was all right. But normally I don't do well shorting the Qs even when it works because I'm so conditioned to take the profits quickly, knowing it's not going to last. That's why it's going to be the difference between making money and losing money on shorting is this stock. UVXY was $15 overnight over the weekend. And now it's down 50%. You know what that tells you? Nobody's selling nothing. Nobody's selling nothing. And if you're going to be a shorter in a market that never goes down, make sure you got the cooperation of UVXY. UVXY being negative, you have to assume any sell-off, any selling today will be just temporary. But if UVXY goes green and gets over the highs of the day, and then it trends like it did last week, it actually trended higher for 2 days. And you never see it. You never see it trending higher because it's a piece of shh. You had the overnight spike, and then look at it, down 50%. By the way, I short this all the time. This is where I almost lost my home shorting this because I had way too much and I got a margin call. That was last year. Anyway, that's my story. That's my problem. But now I just trying to stay focused on these trades that work every time, right? And it's not about owning VWAV or VICR. It's certainly not about owning my portfolio, which consists of Vicker, Clove, which everybody was, you had plenty of reason to ridicule me and ask me why I still own this stock. I think it's getting taken over. That's why I own it. And every time it goes to 250, it bounces pretty nicely. That's why I own it. SRAD, stock's kind of in a downtrend, kind of meandering around. They're reporting the numbers on November 5th. I might be out of it by then. I don't know if I want to own this thing anymore. And VWAV, no reason not to be in it. And they had this anomaly print at 1561. I don't know what that's all about, but go there. And here's the yearly chart on the VWAV. Really, the only reason we bought it was it held the bottom of the range, got back over the yearly VWAP. We bought some more. We bought some $10 calls. And now I've never seen a mispriced option like they were on VWAV. The March 1250s were cheaper than the December 1250s. Thanks. And we just kept hitting the offer, and they kept printing. They kept printing us at 75 and 80, and then he finally moved away on VWAV. But when I found the stock a couple of months ago, it was the same thing. The $10 calls 3 months out only cost a nickel more than the front month. I was like, what? How is this possible? And they were just mispriced, and they went up 100% that day. So this case, I saw the March 1250s were the same price as the Decembers. So we just started buying them, and finally the guy got out of the way, and these are the ones we own. By the way, Q's new highs, we never go down, ever. And it's 12 o'clock already. Wow. And that's it. So you'll have no chance of ever making money as a shorter ever again. It's impossible. Because if you play by discipline rules, you always are forced to cover. Right? There is no down anymore. These are the corrections. So somebody said this morning we already went through a recession. It was a rolling recession. We're all in a rolling recovery. I don't know what the hell that means, but this market is basically, it's a rolling correction. So it'll go down 2 points. There's your correction. And then we rally for 3 or 4 days. And then we pull back for $1, right? And then we rally for 10 straight days. How could you possibly stay short? You can't. Maybe sometime in 2028, when we're already up another 150%, and that's not a joke. I have no reason to believe this market's not about to double because I've seen this environment before, and the market tacked on another 100% before it even thought about going down. This is not 1999. We're in 1997, if you want to put a year on it. And we rallied for 2 more straight years. That's where we're at. And by the way, if you're in PM, all right, you're getting a little bit more out of it. You're looking for 147. You're looking for the exact print, right? So you're looking for to go here. 147. You see the top of the channel right there? That's the 147. Look at the bottom of that candle. That's 147.17. So 147, 147.17, and then you look for it to make another move to the bottoms and the tops of the candles right here. And hopefully all this patience pays you with another couple of points. And that's why you don't sell your entire position at one price. But seriously, the Qs, I hope you know I'm not joking. I think we're going to at least 1,000 within, well, less than time that you think it's going to take to get to 1,000. That's why it's like, if we do get a correction, and I'm not one of these rolling corrections where we have a 0.003% pullback that gets bought every day. That's not real. What you saw on Friday, or it's like 2 Fridays ago, right? The fake Trump tariff China trade war is back on again. We didn't sell off because of what he said. That day they decided to pull the bids and let the shorts have their moment. One of these days they're going to let the shorts have their moment, and they'll get a little bit deeper, and then they'll buy it, and that'll create the new bull market that'll probably last for 2.5 years. So I think there may be one more sell-off to come, and after that, we're going to rally for 2.5 to 3 straight years, and we're going to go up 100%. Dow 80,000, Qs 1,000, SPYs whatever 1,200 or whatever they trade at. I don't know the SPYs trade at. But all that being said, none of that matters, right? Let's go talk about some other trades that we had this morning, right? So you guys know about Nerve? Yeah. So here's a perfect example of me being wrong, but being right at the same time. What does that even mean, right? Pump and dump. Completely missed it. Saw it breaking 5, didn't do anything about it. Next thing you know, where does it go? 750. 5 gets you 750. That's the program. So I'm sitting here going, all right, and consolidating above VWAP, consolidating above VWAP, consolidate, blah, 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 blah. What do you think I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for it to break VWAP so I can short this piece of garbage. And next thing you know, it's breaking 750. Buy it. And that moment either separates you from being a good trader or a bad trader. And to me, this is how you have to trade. It's not about what you think. I'm thinking I'm going to short this thing if it breaks VWAP. And then the bottom of that range was around $6.40. So I was going to wait. VWAP break, range break, definitely looking forward to shorting this. And then before I even got done completing that sentence, buy it because it's breaking pre-market highs. But I thought you just said you were thinking about shorting it. I know, but now it's breaking 750. Buy it. And the stock goes from 750 to 10 to 1250. Now, I'm still stalking it as a short because the last pullback was around 9. VWAP's coming up there. And inevitably, this stock will probably dump. So I go back and check. So let's go look at some of the other names like PHM. Why is PHM on our list? Well, they reported earnings. Okay. So now go through the checklist of awesomeness. What's the checklist of awesomeness? Here's the checklist of awesomeness if you haven't had and get the memo. Why are we trading PHM? They reported earnings. What's the stock doing? Not much, but it's down. What are we thinking about doing? Buying it. Why? Because stocks that are under the VWAP that report earnings, those are buys. No volume, stocks getting slammed. Next thing you know, market opens up. What does that look like? It's exactly the GM trade. Fake them out, shake them out. VWAP break, buy it. Use the foes and the shows as you're out. So now you're in at 160, 116.50, and look where it went. Blue line holds it, holds it. New entries for longs if you missed the first move. Holds it, holds it. New high break, still a new reason to buy. Now you got millions of reasons to be selling it, because when you get from blue to orange, that's 80% of the trade. You're a seller. And now that little spot right there is your stop. And you're thinking what? You're thinking 125. And then if it goes to 125, you're thinking 127.50. And then you look at prior day VWAP. Oh, that's 2 days worth, giving you a little bit more stop. 3 days worth. There's the 4. And then usually by 5, that's where stocks are going to live. So the more conservative investor or trader puts their stop at the 5-day VWAP. The person that's letting this thing breathe uses the pivot point, and you should still be long PHM. Congratulations. Let's go back and take a look at Philip Morris. Nothing's changed. You're still long, right? Still waiting to see what happens next. You should still be long. Check the Galaxy. All right, that trade's over. The short was phenomenal. Got paid on 2 shorts. The long trade even worked. I'd be out and flat right now. The stock's in limbo. I'd be done. Halliburton, ironically, I haven't traded it even once. One of my favorite stocks on the planet. One of my go-to names if the market crashes. I usually buy Halliburton. It's worked for me and my dad for the last 30 years. And I mean it, not joking. If the market crashes, which it won't, but usually Halliburton's been one of my go-to names. It's just a staple of my trading career. I've never, well, I shouldn't say this out loud, but I've never lost money trading Halliburton long, ever in my life. I mean it. Every time this thing crashes, anytime it has some catastrophe, always comes back. It's not a monster trade, but I've never lost trading it on the long side. But today, it was already gapped up. So I'm looking for a reason to short it. And there it was. It worked for a second. Market doesn't want to go down. I'm not going to fight. You know, I probably could have made some money right there. Hold on a second. Uroy. You guys know about Uroy? Leroy. Bruce Uroy. Hello. The only reason I'm looking at this is that Uroy's illegitimate brother, Roy J., was moving this morning. And I think they have some sort of dyslexic relationship. This stock was ripping. And again, you see how this is, it's not a hero trade, but, again, you got the faux show, bro. There's the VWAP break. Now you're on the verge of going green. I mean, it works on every trade. The reason I like focusing on the earnings reports is that you have the gaps, you have more activity, and more chance of gap reversion. All right. I think we covered most of it, right? There was an RTX, there was an LMT, right? LMT obviously gapped up, broke the blue line, got smashed to the orange line. That's a 30-point trade right there. I don't know if anybody was trading this, but then what happens? Faux show, VWAP break over the multi-day for a wonderful long trade. And then you inevitably would have got stopped out of the rest and maybe even taking the short side to that trade. So there it is again. Didn't trade it once. It happened. I wasn't involved, sadly. And that's why when I'm saying I'm hiring, here's what I'm trying to do, right? I've been putting this out there in TikTok world and YouTube. All I want, right? Today was a typical day. It doesn't seem like there was a lot going on, but there was a more than enough. There was more. Let me rephrase that. There was so many trades, even though there wasn't that many, that I would like to be in all of them because, I would have loved to be in the GM trade. Well, so going back to the beginning of our day where we had our new friend who wasn't really sure what was going on, this is it. I'm here every day navigating the markets as best as I possibly can around parameters that have 100% been proved to work well. And then we're just navigating together. I'm answering questions. I'm here all day. And next thing you know, it's 4 o'clock and I've been talking for 8 straight hours. That's what I do. Right? I'm glad the Clove is working. Not exactly. That's just part of what we do. I'm glad the VICR analyst call worked. Phenomenal. I'm glad you guys been in SRAD since 1750. I'm glad the stock is still working. I'm glad you guys bought some VWAP at $7 and $8 and $9 and maybe got paid 300 or 400% on some options. Glad. I'm happy. But I want all that stuff to be a distant second. And by the way, I'm glad about a lot of things. Again, I brought quantum to you guys last year. Nobody was buying quantum stocks. I coined it the space rockets, robots, quantum AI trade and chips. This is nothing new for me. I've been talking about this since my first spot on Yahoo Finance, which was over a year and a half ago. We were talking about ASTS. We weren't even convinced it was not even a pump and dump yet at $7. Put a price tag of rigatoni for $50. The guy was looking at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, "Why? You don't think it's going to go to 50? If it breaks through 20, it'll go to 50 because that's what stocks do." Right? And now we're in the consolidation phase. Momentum has run out. That doesn't mean these stocks are going to crash. We just ran out of momentum right now. So now you'll get your 20% haircut across the board. And then inevitably the good ones will break out and keep going. The stinky ones will either sit there or roll over and die. And that's the market. So let's keep going. You guys have any other ones that were awesome? Because I've missed a number of trades today. And by the way, open, right? Here. So today is one of the first days in the last 6 months I haven't traded the stock. I should have, right? Faux show, VWAP break on a stock that I love. And again, I don't love it like the weirdos on the internet who think this thing's going to $200 a share. I'll still hold to my belief that inevitably this stock is going to be zero, but it's a great stock to trade. I don't care about its long-term goals. And they think after the earnings report, the stock's going to explode. I'll say it's going to go to zero that night because they're going to talk about how worthless they really are. It's a worthless company. But if you haven't heard, 2025 is the year of the worthless stock. And all you do is trade price, right? So, again, was this on our list today? No, it's on our list every day. Was it a specific go-to name? No, but it's a go-to name every day. So once you get that chart set up and you understand faux show, bro, VWAP break, orange line, maybe this is your trade today. Maybe you bought 4,000 shares at $7.15, banged it out here for an $800 profit. That's where I want you to be. So all you can do is do what we're doing. I got my go-to list, and today my go-to list is where I went. GSIT short, USAR short, UUU short. Galaxy was the new one. That was an earnings report. GM, quickly. Of course, the QQQ short that didn't work. Now, wait. Before we go any further, let me show you this open trade right here. Ready? Watch this. Let's buy some. Let's buy some. Why not? Right? What are we risking here? Right now, you got to be thinking 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal, possible 750 break. Right? So what are we risking? You're risking 11 cents. So right. See that price right there? 739. You're buying here at 47. You want to be really, really tight about it because this might be your last trade of the day. There's your risk right there. You're not risking it from going to 715 or zero. You identify your trade. You're a new entry. You're buying 747. Your first stop is 39. Yeah, you probably should give it 2. Give it right underneath 34. Voila. I mean, as long as you know how to identify your risk, you can put any trade you want on, right? So the way I look at this is like, if this is a true reversal, right? You only got the 8 cents, you break through the 750, that's going to trigger some more buying. So I'll buy a little bit here. If I'm wrong, it's a very tiny loss. But if I'm right and we start to break 750, I'll actually add to it. But again, the entry point, the proper entry point's way down here, confirmation of the buy. Here's a seller. You got the sell, but now you're in a new faux show. So what we're hoping for, if this is a new fake out, shakeout, we want the breakout. Hopefully it's more than that 20 cents. And then you start looking at prior day VWAPs. There's the 750 from earlier. Let's put this on an hourly chart for a second. I'll give it 2 days. Well, you guys know 750. 750 is the big number. You get 750 bid. Next thing you know, the stock starts to move up. And again, this is now back to being trading. Open is now trading like the dog shit stock that it is. It's moving in 15, 20 cent increments, but these are tradable moves. The days where the volume has dried up, the moves are getting smaller. To me, that means the stock's going to zero. It's had its move. I'll give it a shot. See if they could get it over 750. I'm risking legitimately $30 on the trade. But my point is, I could take any trade I want because I could identify risk in 2 seconds, right? Now let's go back to the other ones. Prime Minister might be running out of steam here. And again, almost got what we wanted. You got to the 147. Surprised we didn't break because I was expecting 147.50. And now this trade just came to an end. Oh, well. See? Expectations. No reason to believe it's not going to work. Just got stopped out if you're using VWAP as you're out. You ready to buy some more open if it breaks 750? And now we're kind of slowing down. It's 12:24. We've already had, 30 trades go by that were pretty damn good. You're going to get some chop. And then usually you chop between 12 and around 3:15. And then the market picks up usually back into trend, into the close. And then you come back tomorrow and do it all over again. Any questions? I'm not just saying that. Anybody have any questions? Beyond, very nice from yesterday. Very cool. So this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? But Kenny, I thought you said it was going to 147.50. I know. So did I. I'm the one who said it. I thought it was going to go to 147.50, but we never broke the 147. Not only did I think it was going to go to 147.50, I was counting on it to go into 148 and a quarter because everything was telling me I'm right. You know, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, VWAP break. Come on, let's go. And listen, I just got out of the trade. I only had 50 shares left anyway, right? So I just got done. That doesn't mean this thing can't come back to that price where we bought it, and maybe we do that round trip again. So, you know, again, the way I trade, if I'm disappointed, my former self say, "Oh, I'm not getting out. I was disappointing. I'm gonna sit here and lose money," and I would buy more and indiscriminately at weird prices. Now, every trade that I do, I have an exact price of where I'm going to do something. As she rises to her apology. What? Say something about yacht rock? Don't ask me for a good time. By the way, man, these Qs, I mean, seriously, what are we going to be? We're at 650 by Friday? 700? Why don't we get this whole thing, get it over with? It's just to rally 10%. Come on. You know what's going to happen. 604? You're lucky to see 609 ever again. Today's lows are new generational lows. You know they are. You may never see the lows of today ever again. I'm in this market. And I mean it. I'm losing every day trying to short. Every day. 300 here, 500 there. I lost $3,000 the other day trying to short the market. I was really freaking confident about it too. And I added to my short and I got smoked again. But one of these days I'm going to add to my short and it's actually going to go rolling over and I'm going to have a really nice trade. I don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe in 2028. But it ain't happening this year. And that's why when people say, "Oh yeah, you're legging in or short," sure. I'm living proof that shorting the Qs doesn't work. Somebody stop me from doing the trade. I know it doesn't work and I still do it. Silly. But I usually, obviously I did it with a reason. I thought, this is it. Here we go. We just rolled over. Finger of God, VWAP break. Look at us shorting the market. Oh my God, we're at lows. Yeah, here we go. Nope. Here we go nowhere. Here we go in your face. That's where we go. Again. Here's a fun fact, friends. If UVXY is ever above 1340, and I mean for the rest of the year, then you probably want to be shorting something. Because now that it crashed again, just for even to get over recent highs is virtually impossible. So if you see the impossible being done, this market's got some issues. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Spalding. We're going to be shorting the market today, Spalding. A man with a grin, something with his chin, and he's got the stock market beat. Pookie. You want to short stocks? You short stocks like NVA. You see this piece of God? Piece of God. Sorry, piece of shit. See what this stock did the other day? See, that is a pump and dump. You want to short stocks? These. Stocks that go from 8 to 80. Like my ladies. What? Sorry, it's a pedophilic joke. I know it rubs people the wrong way. I didn't make that joke up. Somebody once said 8 to 80. Anyway, but yeah, new eggs. You want to short some new eggs? $3 stock goes to 138. Yeah, you got to step in there and make something happen. Let's go. Now I got 48,000 shares open. Hey, oh shit. How did I buy so many shares? Holy shit. Holy shit. We got 38,000 shares, 59,000 shares. Let me sell a couple. All right, we got 50 on the bid. Now, normally I don't take 5-cent profits, but I just want to get the hell out of here. So you got 5,000 shares, it's 250 bucks. Let me see if they're buying from at 752. Nobody bought from me at 52 yet. 52 sold. 53 sold. All right. I'm not selling no more. Now let's see if we can get 62. So what you're witnessing here, my friend, is obviously I'm late to the party here, right? I just explained this trade. The only reason I took it is because the stock is great to trade, right? And usually when you get a 1-minute multi-day VWAP reversal near 750, you get at least 750. And if you break 750, you tend to get a little bit more out of it. And I'm talking a little bit more. 762, eighth of a point, old school trading. Why not? Right? So if you bought 45, 46, 47, 48, I just sold 52 and 53. And now I could put 47 as my stop on the rest. I don't even care about this trade. I was just putting it on just to prove a point that you could find winning trades all day. It's not hard to find winning trades in this market. They're everywhere. You know, I'd rather stick with my earnings reports because they work awesome. And of course, buying the Qs on every dip continues to work. Just ridiculous, ridiculous. I use these terms because as a shorter, I'm literally sick of this market already. Like, would you just give us a damn chance to short something? What's up? Now, you understand also, before I go, right? My dad's fully invested, so I'd rather not see the market crash. But I also know that if it does crash, it'll come back. The ideas of bear markets doesn't exist. We're a boom bust. Most of the time we're booming, right? It's not about the economy, stupid, whatever that guy used to say. The market's broken to go up. Right. We're not going back soon. Exactly. So if we even do have a big correction or a crash, if you will, of 20%, so 20% off the highs right here gets us to 492.50, roughly. Bring it. Bring it. The Q's at 492.50. I'm loading up. Bring it. And that's what everybody's saying. That's why we can't go down. Everybody's sitting here going, please, please go down so I can buy. And everybody's getting, the more month after month, year after year, more people are realizing, hey, what's the point of even selling? Because there's no such thing as a bear market anymore. We have corrections and crashes, and then the duration of the corrections and the crashes have become so minuscule, and now I'm out of the open trade. Bye-bye. Good night. I'm done. I'm out of it. That was my last trade of the day, and now I'm free. All right, I just want to put that on just for fun. I'm glad it worked. Got paid a nickel. He dances for nickels. Handsome Joe. But seriously, this market, that's why, again, until these faux show bros stop working so well, you know we're in a bull market. And that's a big thing. The faux show bro obviously works better in a bull market because you're victimizing the short, the long's getting stopped out, everybody's got to adjust. Obviously, it works better in a market that's trending higher, which we are pretty much every freaking day. My name's Kenny Glick, and I'll be doing this till the day I die. So hopefully I proved my worth to my new friend here. Sorry, we got off on the wrong foot. There's no one in the business that's better at navigating the market on a daily basis than I am. That's what you pay for. That's what you're paying for. The trades are just a coincidence. Of course, I'm going to find you winning trades. You just have to wait. And the point that I was trying to make today is that sometimes those winning trades are the opposite of what we were thinking about doing in the first place. Like the nerve turned out to be a long trade. I was looking for a short. Pulte Holmes, I'm not even watching it. Meanwhile, it's probably the hottest trade of the day. Look at this wonderful trade. Not once did I trade it. So that's my story. Oh, bro, yeah. Oh man, it's just so silly. But in a market where Beyond Meat could go from 80 cents to 260, do you really want to be shorting stocks? Right, we're still in psychotic bull market, right? When they basically declared bankruptcy, right? They said, no, you know what? The meat is so fake that we don't even want it anymore. Whatever they say. You know the company's going out of business. And you guys know about my friend who, well, we're not friends anymore, but $5 million worth of the stock she had. And I'm in the office. I was trying to get hired as her financial consultant. A woman that now she manages the lives of famous people. Like, for instance, Dave Duchovny, her number one client. And I forgot the story, but she manages people's lives. But she does everything. Like, they want to buy a house, she goes out there looking for the house that they want to buy, negotiates the house, buys the house, does all the transactions. So she's in deep with a lot of rich people. But she's not in tune with the market. So I tried to get a job at her company to be the market guy. And the first thing I did was looked at what she owned, and oh my God, she had 5,000 shares of Beyond Meat. And I'm like, holy shit, what are you doing here? I was like, the stock is worthless. What are you talking about? It's up huge. I'm like, yeah. I know it's up huge now. Sell half right here, right now. Well, no, I really think the company is good. It's fake meat. The stock's up 600% since you bought it. No reasonable human being wouldn't take profits here. Please sell half at least. You think it's going to be a successful company? Great. Sell some here. And if I'm wrong, I'll refund you the difference. I was like, and the stock I think was like 180, 250, 225 at the time. Just to point out the irresponsibility. You think people who have money are smart? She just wasted. You know what $5 million could have done for me and my family and my friends? I would have done a much better job with that $5 million than watching her let it evaporate in some fake meat company. Amongst other trades that she had on. She had some weed stocks that she knew some guy that gave her, this stock. I don't know if you guys remember GRWG. And she's, this has got to be 4 or 5 years ago at this point now, but, there's a shelf life to all these stocks. And as a bear, to me, every stock except for Tesla is worthless. I mean it. Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, PayPal, AMD, chip companies. I hate every stock. I really do. I even hate the stocks I own, even though they're working right now. I'm a true bear. I think the whole market is smoke and mirrors. It's a pyramid scheme, all that. But you can't fight it. But it's trades like this where I'm talking to this woman. I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, you're up close to $500,000 on this trade. There's zero reason to think you shouldn't take some money off the table. And to put it in perspective, this is a woman. Oh, she's worse than LA. She said to me on her way to the Galapagos Islands to save the turtles, we were talking about taxes and she didn't want to take the tax implication. Hold on to this one because this one still hurts when I say it out loud. I don't mind paying taxes. As a matter of fact, I would pay 80 to 90% taxes to support my government because I trust they're going to put the money to good use. Holy shit. And I was like, all right, lady, good luck with your life. You must have more money than everybody. And then the phone rings. And it's Tucker Anderson. No, the other guy, Anderson Cooper. And then she's like, hang on, I gotta take this call. It's Anderson Cooper. And she's making funeral arrangements for Gloria Vanderbilt. And then the other phone rings. She's like, can you get that? I'm like, sure. Hello. Okay, yeah. Okay, who, Bill? Bill Joy. Bill Joy? Oh, okay, great. I'll tell you called. She's on the phone with Anderson Cooper planning a funeral while Bill Joy coys on the other line. And I'm thinking, what am I doing here? But this crazy person who wants to pay 90% of taxes because the government will do better with her money than she will, she said that out loud. Also allowed herself to not sell this stock at 67 and watch it go to 60 cents and watch the $5 million profit in Beyond Meat turn into zero. People are nuts. That's what I'm trying to say. And you're irresponsible with money. It doesn't make any sense. And that's why VWAP is the way. Because no matter what you think or how you feel or whatever the case might be, VWAP knows more than all of us and forever will. And next time you're up 600% on a stock, sell some. I mean, those two trades alone, and she had some other stocks, she was in the queues, thankfully. So it's probably offsetting her disaster here. But how irresponsible can you be? How psychotic can you be to want to pay 80 to 90% of your taxes, thinking the government would do a better job with the money than you would? Nah, and it's like, I'll do a better job. I'll do a better job than the government. I'll take the money. Thanks. On a side note, she was a very good-looking 65-year-old woman. How you doing? So if she needed me for any other services, what? How you doing? All right, on that note, dropping the mic. Very sophisticated lady, yes. Would have been nice if she was just giving the $5 million. All right, what do you guys want to do now? You guys still short in USAR? Son of a mother. You know what? Before I go, let me just leave you one more time with this notion, right? Remember how much I love this stock? And even on the way up, I was shorting it. This is a typical moment that I don't want ever to get lost in translation. A few weeks ago, when we were in the stock at 1750 and it broke 20, I said, this bad boy's going to 50. Right? So there's a guy out there who didn't want to sell it. I was like, but we just had a blow off top. I think you should get out. You said it was going to go to 50. I know. It went to 44. It's pretty damn good. I'm out. I'm going to hold on to it, he says. I'm like, all right. But if the stock plummets back to 21, which is what I think is going to happen, please don't yell at me. I'm just trying to tell you, because I had this moment once before with a guy named Jimmy. Jimmy was very excited about me getting him into a stock. And I told him where I thought it was going to go. And then about 3 weeks later, I told Jimmy, I don't like the stock anymore. What do you mean? It just had a blow off top and an intraday reversal. It's a very negative thing for a stock to do. It might give back this whole move. So I'm going to sell it right now. But you said it was going to go to 50. I know, Jimmy. I'm the one who said it. And it really looked like it was going to go to 50 3 weeks ago. We're in the stock at 1750. It's now at 25. It hit 2850 and reversed yesterday. That's very negative, Jimmy. If it breaks back under 25, it could go back to 1750. So why not sell it right now in case it does? And you know what Jimmy said to me? Fuck you. That's what he said to me. He said, you told me it's going to 50. I'm hanging in there with it. Okay, Jimmy. I just want to let you know that I'm selling it, and I'm specifically telling you that you should sell it. And the guy that told you it might go to 50 is now telling you it's going to 0. The same guy. And he told me, I don't care. I'm like, well, then it's on you, my friend. And that's the industry we live in. And that's why, I try to tell these stories, because if you want to be psychotic and let a $5 million trade turn into a 0, or be like Jimmy or the USAR guy that I had a conversation with, I'm just trying to do the best I can here as a human being, trading around what I believe to be the only thing left that tells me the truth, because, man, you go on the internet, I don't know what to believe. VWAP doesn't lie to me. Price doesn't lie. And I just try to do my best and help people navigate through this whole crazy world of trading and investing. And I think using the way we do it is legitimately the best way to do it. And again, if you're still long the prime minister, look at that, right? You're still long, and you finally got to where you thought you would get to because you put your stop at 145.50. Very nice. But Jimmy over here, he heard it was a short, and he's still short. And by the way, if you are still long prime minister, well done. See, he was waiting for me to sell my last 50 shares. You see? You don't want me trading with you. You just want me navigating the markets for you. As soon as I put a trade on, something goes horribly wrong. Well, not lately. I've been back on the ebb and flow of the market again. But it's not about me. That's what the point I'm always trying to make. It's not about me. I'm pretty good at articulating what to do. I only do 3 out of the other day we had 88 trades. I did 8 of them, which was a lot. There was like 88 other opportunities that day. So contact me if you're looking for a job. I am looking to hire two or three solid people. We got G-Man, we got Linda. I'm trying them out. And I'll tell you what, before I go, here's what we're trying to do. What I want you to do is come to the chat room, hear me talk. You'll have the list. I will give you the trades. I will give you the parameters that I want you to place those trades around. And then if that trade shows up, do them in my account. We will commingle some funds. Let's assume, just a rough number. You put up $5,000. I put up the other 25. Wham. You got a $30,000 account. With that, you can trade anything you want. And as I'm trading the stock, I want you to complement my trades with either the stock trade if I'm not in the stock already, or option trades coinciding with these wonderful trades that seem to work almost every time they show up. So if you're interested, we're going to start doing live interviews in front of the mob and to put you to the test. You think you know what you're doing? Let's go. Get the paper trading account. And at the end of the day, I want to see that you bought PM at 144.25 and sold some here and sold some here. I want to see these trades. I want to see that you bought PHM I want to see that you bought PHM at the VWAP break and sold some, and then sold some more here, and you're still in the trade. So the interview process will be very simple. Do you know stock market vernacular? Do you know order entry? If the answers are yes, congratulations. You've made it to the next stage. I'm not going to teach you what I'm saying. You need to know some of this stuff. You need to know order entry. If I need to say, when I say offer out something, you need to know that means sell some. Offer out, raise bid. Sorry, offer out, raise stop. Cover, lower stop if you're short, right? And it's just a communication thing. Like, I need to know what you're doing. I don't want to hear about what you're doing, because that usually has backfired in the past as well, because suddenly I hear that you bought some IPO and without a stop on, and you went to lunch and you're down $5,000. And I don't want that. Man, 2 hours goes by so quickly. You see how much fun we're having? All right. But I'm really going to go this time. And listen, if you really need to know what I own, it's the same stocks, right? I got VWAV, SRAD, and of course, everybody's new favorite stock, Clove, because it's getting taken over. Just a rumor that I heard 4 years ago, still waiting. But every time this stock goes to 250, it gets bought. There's something up. And now we're back to the yearly VWAP, which this time I'm going to sell some, finally, at a profit. Thank you very much. I still think we're going higher. I'm not selling all of it. I've waited this long. And if we ever break, and I'm telling you this right now, friends, if we ever break 487, I'm buying 1 million shares to start. You break 487, I'm in. Huge. Huge. I'm going to make this company great again, all the way to 750. And then I'll call Trump and tell him to mention it. Me and the Warlock, we love and Clove. A lot of people don't like it. We do. Tremendous company. I'm not too sure what they do, but we love it. Fantastic company. Great people involved. I have no idea who they are, but terrific people. If they do something wrong, I don't know any of them. Never heard of them. But right now we're seeing good things about it. And if we ever can get out of this goddamn range right there, I'm seriously buying at least 100,000 shares to start, not 1 million. By the way, Q's new highs. We never go down. Have a great day. See ya. Q's new highs. Unbelievable. I don't think we're ever going to have a down day ever again. It's so sick. But listen, if you're in the prime minister, congratulations. You are patient. You will making as a trader. There you go. All the levels that you waited for are now here. Bang. Bang. Now, again, you're expecting it to hit that price, which is the 148 and a quarter. But now you've taken some profit, right? 147.50. There you go. All right. Well, there you go. By the way, I was hating on the SRAD because it got upgraded 3 times, just to talk my book before I go one more time. The reason I was disappointed in the stock is that I allowed myself to be manipulated. It got upgraded there. I was like, oh, maybe I should sell some, because upgrades are usually sells when they're up new at all-time highs. 3 upgrades, and I didn't sell any. That's irresponsible. When your stock gets upgraded a lot, usually it's a good time to sell. And because I didn't sell any, I actually wound up buying more because it held the yearly VWAP. November 5th, they're reporting. I'm still on the fence of whether or not I'm going into the report. I think the prediction markets might be ruining what SRAD does. I got to kind of get a feel for it. I got to call my analyst friend, the one I do actually enjoy what they have to say. And then again, obviously VWAP, I know you guys are all newbies in this trade. Zero reason to be selling unless you're taking some profit. We got an anomaly print today up here. I don't know what that is, but it happened out of nowhere. That's where I think the stock's going to go within, hopeful. Be nice if it happened today, but if it doesn't happen today, maybe soon. But you just don't sell out of stocks in 2025 that are breaking all-time highs. I've sold some because that's what I do. I bought an option at 70 cents. I sold some for $1.40. It's 100% gain the next day. I take the 100% gain. Now I'm sitting pretty, right? And then, hopefully any consolidation above the breakout, super, super bullish. And hopefully we get a little squeezerooski because nobody even knows this stock exists. When the volume comes in, hopefully we get a nice 3-point rip. You'll see, more people interested. And then maybe we get the open people to buy some real stocks. By the way, you see that open trade? Nickel was all they wanted to give us, right? Nickel was all we took, right? You had 3,000 shares. You took 2,000 nickels, right? It's like hitting a slot machine. 2,000 nickels. It's like my grandfather. 2,000 nickels. Hey, look, we made $100. And then the other 1,000, you get stopped out flat. It's all right. Wait, what's going on? Is something going on? UVXY just ticked flat. Wait a second. Don't get me excited about going short. What? No. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. Good luck. I'm not shorting the Qs this time. No way. I'm not doing it this time. Now this time it'll work, right? I am not shorting the Qs. No. I'm not doing it this time. No. I am not shorting the Qs this time. Which really means I'm already short. No, I'm not short this time. Sometimes I try to fool the matrix when I'm short the Qs by pretending I'm not short the Qs. They know. They know I'm out there. But dudes and hoes, man, I have lost so much money. What did he just say? Bros and hoes. I'm on a boat. Yeah, I've lost so much money shorting the Qs. I'm mentally unstable now. And I'm not even joking. I'd actually be a different person, not just monetarily. I think mentally. I have been beaten so badly by shorting this market. It's not even right. It's not fair. But I'll tell you one thing before I go, and I've been saying that for like 55 minutes now. You see how I don't really want to go because I have nowhere else to go. You got a 1-minute VWAP collision right there. That's interesting. You break this spot, chances are you're going to be testing those recent lows. UVXY is going green. Normally I would be short already. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I don't care if it works or not. It's just one other trade, right? But those generational lows, it's very, very significant. So if you look at 15 days worth of data, well, let's take a look at 20 days. And this is what my script does. It grabs any amount of data and then spits out the VWAP, right? So right there, that's basically takes in the mini pullback, the aftermarket. This was the Trump, and those were the two tests. So those are the real generational lows where we rallied back to. This was Friday aftermarket before we went into the weekend, tested it. If we ever break the 590, I'm going to have to short the Qs because I would have to assume the 590 double break, we're going to go test those pre-market lows, which is a nice 8-point sell-off. And if that actually happens, we got ourselves a sell-off. Then we got ourselves a sell-off. And by the way, if you're in the clove, like I said, I finally just sold a couple of hundred shares. I'm not selling any more of it. I've been waiting for a year for this move. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the takeover. I don't know. But no joke, it's a 2-year-old rumor on Clove. And it's no joke, it's 2 years later. And obviously, the thing hasn't gotten taken over. So I bought the stock on the original. It's got to be more than 2 years ago now. It's so stupid that I still own the stock. But you know what? It's a typical thing right here. So I was buying it here. What was that? Yeah, it's only been a year. Last August, the 250 break. Yeah, this was me right here. So basically August 12th. It's over about a year. This is long-term investing for me. I've actually owned the stock for over a year and a half. So I've waited this long. Let's go, baby. And I'll buy more. But here's another thing about this Clove, right? Weekly options trade in penny increments. So I don't want to root against my stock, but right now I will. Because my friends, if it sits here and consolidates right under 350, let's say we chop 315, 350, and then you break 350 on a Friday, and we get a squeezerooski above 350 on a Friday with a 1 cent option, and the stock pops 30 or 40 cents, you're talking about 30x. That's a great way to spend your weekend, taking a $200 shot and making $6,000 on it, or depending, little mustard shit, working all these numbers above the neck, mustard shit. I love it. That means nothing at all. It's one of my favorite sayings. Yeah, but you see how quickly 2 hours goes by? Because I fucking love this shit. And if you're short the Qs right now, kill it. Get them. Get them. I'm rooting for you, baby. Just remember, it ain't going to last. But I hope it does. Did you just tag those double? Did you just tag that spot? Let's see. Oh, my God. You're telling me the market's not rigged? You telling me this town ain't got no heart? You telling me you're not short the nerve yet? Come on, people. See? Where's my new friend? Are we friends again? It's okay. We got off on a bad start. Did you short some nerve? Huh? I told you to wait it out? Huh? This guy's short nerve over there. He knows what's up. There you go. Getting paid. Right? You waited all morning. I don't even know if that was a real trade, but look at that. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So anyway, let me just qualify everything. I do still think that stock's getting taken over, and I still own it. Clove just sold a couple. Finally. And if you are short the nerve, I'm very proud of you, because that means you were paying attention. Very good. How about selling some Beyond calls? Don't. You mean naked calls on Beyond Meat? Don't do that. Seriously, is anybody short the nerve? I mean, we waited all afternoon or morning or whatever time it is. It's 1 o'clock. Come on. And I think those were probably real candles, them trying to screw people right before the sell-off. And gentlemen, ladies, are you short the Qs? I'll stay here the whole time. I'll stay here till 4 o'clock. Come on. You just broke 1 minute and multi-day VWAP with UVXY going green. And I'm staying out of it. I'm doing this for you people. See, normally I'd be short already. I'm not even going near it. So this would be the big one. Oh, Elizabeth, it's the big one. Yeah, it's the big one. It's never the big one. Oh, man. I hope you guys are right. Let me just go check my Clove trade. Hold on a second. Actually, you know what? How much of the 350s right now? What's today? Say Tuesday or Wednesday. What day is today? Tuesday? It's Tuesday. Yeah. Oh, if it was Wednesday, it'd be better. Some of my friends are buying those 350s. 60,000 contracts traded on it. That's 10x the open interest. Think there's something going on here with Clove? Huh? Huh? Interesting. Well, what do you know about that? By the way, full disclosure, guys, I sold the mob. Selling on the way up. Done with the mob. I got none of these medals. Nothing. I got 100 shares of the Jedi. You know about the Jedi? Jedi. My banging portfolio. 100 shares of Jedi. You guys know about the Jedi? Go do some due diligence. Interesting. Just got 100 shares. Just getting a little taste of what this is all about. It's an index. It's drones, defense. It's where I want to be. All right, now that I spent 2 hours with you, I'm really going to go this time. So make sure your guys are with us. What? Somebody needs a toe? Oh, I'll get you a toe. How many days you need? Oh, I'll get you a toe with nail polish. What? All right, I'm really going to go this time. But if you like what we're doing here, this is what I do, right? 5 hours goes by, I haven't even moved from my desk. Riveted. I got your diamonds right here. All right, I'm really leaving this time. And 3, 2, 1. It's nice hanging out with you. Be good. And if you did trade any of those names, listen, if you're in the prime minister, I mean, you waited this long. Congratulations. See, it was waiting for me to sell my other 50 shares. I mean, it's really it's uncanny that I was like, all right, I'm going to put a stop on it, VWAP. I'll just sell the other 50 shares. And that's when the bigger move happened. See, once again, it's not about me. That's why I didn't want to ruin your QQQ short by jumping in. Good luck. That's all I'm going to say. And if you traded this prime minister or Philip Morris long today, boring is good. All right.